but we'll take his information to be first hand and very crucial. His name is Mr. Kato Anthony Sentongo. He's a head teacher of one of the schools in Mukono there, and the name is not small. It's called Mukono, Global Junior School Mukono. It is a primary school, and we want to get to know. These are people who handle our children at a tender age. How do they do it? So you are on a very good show, you being a parent. Mr. Sentongo, we are so glad to have you on the show.
Thank you so much.
How is Mukono in general? How is the traffic jam there? How is everything?
Yeah, we are trying to maneuver, but it is not as much as it is in Kampala here. And the oxygen we have there is a bit fresh as compared to the oxygen you have this side.
The young people these days say Tokubya nyo.
No. But that is a fact. That's the environment where we are. We like it, and we are moving on well.
You're most welcome. And how is Global Junior School?
Global Junior School is fine. We are just in the final preparations, in preparation for reporting back of our kids. That is on 28th for borders, and then the official opening of school on 29th.
Actually, that's the general program.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
The social media, when the term is coming to open, gets awash with requirements and school fees structures, especially from you guys in the private direction. What do you think justifies these big figures? Okay, they may not be so big, but on our side as parents, of course they look big. What do you think makes you people, school proprietors and managers, to come up with these kind of figures?
We need to understand what we call something big. Some fees can be 80,000 shillings. It might be big to someone. It can be 1 million, big to someone.
And small to someone.
And small to other persons. But the most important thing here is the relationship, the understanding the school has with its clients, the parents and the children. What are the desires of our kids in terms of welfare, in terms of education standards and everything? It depends on how the school relates with its parents in terms of the needs the parents want from the school. Nevertheless, but we also need to look at other factors. As schools, we need to look at a situation where we are not exploiting the parents, but looking at the facilities that we are supposed to be having in order for our children to have a better education.
You talk about relationship between me, the parent, and you, the school proprietors or managers.
Yes.
I want me, the parent, watching to understand what kind of relationship it has to be. What kind of platform do I put up for a relationship?
The relationship the parent has with the school has to do with around 3 areas. Quality, assurance. Because everyone who takes his or her child to a school with a name of having the best education. And having the best education calls for a number of areas that we are supposed to be putting into perception. That is one, the quality of education, the standard of education. Then the welfare. There are many parents who mind so much about the welfare of their kids. Some parents would love to have the welfare the kids have at home to be the same welfare that they are supposed to be having at school. So the school and its parents have to have a point where they sit. I have heard when I was coming to achieve that.
Is it achievable for my son Arthur to have the same condition at home replicated at school?
At school.
Is it possible?
It's to a certain extent you just try, but sometimes it is not possible.
What are the things that you can give my children and I get to feel like, get to feel like he is almost at home?
The quality education. You must have the quality teachers that you are supposed to be having. You must have the quality welfare. What they want their kids to achieve is very key in looking at the standards.
I want you to break down what you think in a practical sense, in a practical picture, let me put it that way. What you think determines the fees structure. We are dropping the idea of it being big because it may be big to Sentongo, but very small to Micheal. Okay, yes. So what do you think determines the fees structures that we have today in the private sector schools?
One, what determines the fees structure is the type of education and the clients we are having and the relationship we have with their parents. A parent, you can have a meeting, a parents meeting, these PTA meetings we have, and the parents put up their hand and say, we think that if our kids' welfare and feeding is supplemented with milk at least thrice a week, it will make this child concentrate in terms of health and everything. Head teacher, how do we see if there is a possibility that we can provide milk at least 3 times a week? Then as a parent says, yes, I think it is very important like this. Now, what are we supposed to be doing?
Because milk is not given for free anywhere?
Because there is no milk where you are going to go and put it in the garden and get it from the garden. You are supposed to buy it. So the services, people look for those services that they think they suit. But the moment you sit and understand, then the type of education, to determine, you are looking at the scope of the curriculum. How has this school interpreted the curriculum? For example, education is supposed to be integrated if it will be sustainable. For any serious school, when you just look at the curriculum that we are having, but it's not integrated, then you're going to find it very difficult for that education to be sustainable.
When you say integrated, I want every parent to understand.
To understand that. For example, in primary, yes, where the most examinable subjects are 4: math, English, science, social studies. Yes. But those 4 subjects, if they are not supplemented with maybe practical approaches, practical skills to enhance, to help, then the SSD math we are having is likely not to benefit your child at this kind of environment and the way the world is run.
So when you say
integrated, you need to bring a number of things, yes, to supplement on what the kids are getting in the class.
Like what?
Practical skills, where you are adding in carpentry, you are adding in home economics, you are adding at primary level.
That's the holiday package that we are sweating with as parents.
Sometimes you have
somebody has a holiday package to go sit in someone's shop for 1 week.
That kind of meaningful education. The education, instead of just having something in your brain, but you can have it practically done. So there are schools that are putting a number of those things in their schools, yes, but they also require some bit of supplements for a parent to know that, yes, as much as my child is getting these 4 subjects, but there are other areas that my child is getting. It also determines on how you are going to have that thing implemented. Yes. But sometimes it requires money.
It's costly.
It requires.
What is the most expensive thing for a school? Is it paying teachers, feeding our children, the additional services that you give to our children, or the normal social accommodation of our children, including dormitories and whatever? What is the most expensive bit for you people in there? Private schools that make you draw these fee structures. Okay. I'm not going to say they are big again. Yes.
I want to give you one of the elements people don't want so much to talk about. Okay. The human resource. The people, the teachers, the cooks, the askaris, the matrons. Those are the people who are going to bring the kind of education you want for your child. So when you are looking at their welfare, it must be very standard, because they will give their best. They will give every energy. They will take time to research, to concentrate on that one child in order to benefit. I hear schools where we have teachers who are part-timers. In a serious school, you need to have a teacher who is there 24/7, because he's monitoring someone with a child 24 hours. So you need to look at their welfare. The security of our kids. The mothers who are taking care of the kids while sleeping, they must have an environment that looks like...
We used to call them matrons.
Matron.
Do you call them mothers today?
These days are mothers.
Things have changed.
Yeah, they have changed because we want to bring that environment that...
I was somewhere and talked about Leavers Party. Although the kids looked at me, I looked very, very old. Today they call it prom party.
Prom. I see those things. Eh? Now, they are mothers. Why? We want to connect that education the child has come up with home to be at school. So those people must be well catered for, so that they can concentrate.
That's the number one most expensive.
That's the number one most expensive bit
for a school.
For a school.
What comes number two?
Number two is the feeding, their welfare. Feeding. Everyone understands what we mean by feeding. In my case, my kids wake up at exactly 6, but at 7 they must have a meal, because that is what they are going with.
A meal, or you?
That's what I'm saying. That is what I'm saying. If I came here to give you...
When you say meal, what do you mean?
They have to take tea. They have to get breakfast that morning. They have to get that morning tea. They have to take tea. If don't tea, they have to take porridge with milk. They have to take bread. They have to take an egg. Are you getting that point? Because that's what they are at home. That is at 7. Then at 10:30, you must bring that heavy breakfast. Why? A child who goes to class hungry, whatever you are going to give is out of order. That is what the parent wants. Now you have lunch, you have the evening tea, then you go to supper. That is one of the elements. If your child is to benefit from the education, the welfare, the feeding. Now, for example, here now, when you look at the prices of commodities, every time they are changing. We have been buying a kilogram of beans at 3,500. But as I talk now, a kilogram of beans has gone as far as 6,000. Twice the price that we used to have. I'm just talking about beans. I've not talked about rice. I have not talked about posho. I have not talked about matoke, because that is, matoke are just now coming back, but they have been so high. And according to our menu, everything is supposed to be there. And our parents understand that. So when you're telling a parent the kind of figure that we are supposed to be having, when you go on breaking it with them, with these regular meetings we have, they see it is worth that.
So understanding these figures, I'm getting to understand your point that it should be schools to get their parents to understand what makes the figures,
like
be the way they are.
You get that?
But again, for us, we think that you being private, you chase a profit. So definitely you will make figures that favor your area of making a profit.
Yeah.
Are we right to think like that?
You are right, because me, I've been in education for quite some time.
Good.
There are two categories of schools. There is a service providing school and a business school. I have been in a school where there have never been any parents' meeting. Everything they want a parent to do, they just send. Either you are able to come or don't able to come. That is a business school. But a service school only looks at what suits our parents, what the parents want.
They care about
what the parents desire. You get that? Okay. They will think about what is required of their kids. What do you give? Of recent, I've been having meetings in first term when parents are coming in a year. you need to have what we call class meetings to tell the parents to understand. It is very difficult to teach, to get money, 1 million, 1.5 million that you are teaching your child when the parent doesn't know exactly what is embedded in 1.5 million shillings. Okay. In education, what are you giving my child? Do I understand the curriculum? What am I supposed to do? Am I a stakeholder in education? Yes. If I'm a stakeholder, what am I supposed to do as a parent? That is a service school. The parent understands. And whenever you tell them we want to do this, they will come because they understand. They see the effects of education.
And the result of whatever you ask.
And the results of whatever you ask for them. And the number of parents. But some you're going to hear, some parents are going to complain. Those are the parents who want to keep so much away from the school. As much as they have something, how much do they want this?
They throw in the money, they go away.
They go away. The parent called me, I called the parent. Now I'm here, you didn't attend a meeting for your child. Then the parent asked me, of the two, school fees and me being there physically, what do you what do you want most? I thought you just only need the money.
Because I am busy looking for the money, why do you want me?
Busy looking for the money.
Actually, I've ever had a parent asking,
you get that?
Do you want to teach me also?
Are you getting that point? Another one said, now you are giving homework, everyday homework to our kids, but they are disturbing us, we don't even know. But do you understand why that homework is there, and if it is there, how is it important?
We looked at the school fee structures. How about the exaggerated requirements?
Yes. Yes.
A ream every term for a P1 chap.
A bag of cement.
Things like that.
Development
fee every term.
Yes.
Then we may understand, due to the good explanation you have given about school fees, that if you have to feed my child, definitely I must meet the costs as the parent. What is your view about the materials you people ask for, to an extent of even being specific that we need Kamukama papers?
Yeah.
We need Davis Kamukama pencils, Michael Jordan Lukomwa books. Some of you have gone to a level of printing books, anyway, which is good, but we look at it as a form of you making money. Give another piece of explanation about these requirements. What determines the exaggeration, what we see as an exaggeration in our part as parents?
Thank you so much for that question. I always sometimes sympathize with our parents. Our parents sit, but they don't understand how schools operate. And for whatever is supposed to be followed by the parents, they just get it from a school. I want to give you scenarios that I'm completely so much against. Okay. Me as an educationist, and someone who is leading a service providing school in the same sector.
Good.
So I don't want to talk on behalf of others, but there are certain things that I think parents must understand with the schools where they take their kids. I want specifically this book the teacher has sent, specifically, and it's only bought from school. For me as an education, I need to ask why. If I'm asking for a bar of soap, instead of bringing a bar of soap, bring money. Are you getting that point? What is the essence of telling someone that soap must be bought from school, and yet where you pass to come,
there are shops with a lot of soap.
There are shops with a lot of soap. For me, there are certain things I don't ask in a school, in my school. I don't ask for a ream of paper because machines use different reams of what? Paper. Consolidate and understand with the school.
You don't specify the brand.
I don't specify the brand, but what I know that as we are with the parents, we understand this fees can cater for a ream, it can cater for a broom, it can cater for soap, it can cater for this. Is it okay? But you're asking...
So you set a fee that caters for all that.
All of that. One, you are getting away these issues of exploitation. These issues of exploitation of parents. I want this kind of book, I want this kind of broom, I want this kind of thing. Like I don't tell parents, come buy textbooks. Because how many textbooks will your child need if it's to have all the education? It is me, the teacher, who understands the content, what this child is supposed to have. Therefore, I must have everything scoped
within the fees.
Within that.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sentongo. We are taking a very short break. To you watching, if you are a parent or you expect to be a parent, this must be the best program for you to watch at this time as we go back to school for the second term. Keep there. Let's get back to you after this short break.
Ebiseera by'okuzzaayo abaana mu masomero tebiteekwa kukaluubiriza n'akatono. Eno kusimba nnyiriri mpanvu kano kalippagano ka bidduka. Simanya kuzunga na banka siripusi. Kati osobola okusasula school fees z'omwana wo ate n'okola n'ebirala ntoko ku ssimu ye ey'omu ngalo. Ekikola kyangu nnyo. Nyiga bunyizi *185*8 ogoberera ebikulagiriddwa oba okozese app ya MTN Momo. Ate kati okola ki olwaleero? MTN Mobile Money Uganda Limited erungamizibwa banka enkulu ya Uganda. This isn't just a girl. She is the future. This is a teacher, a doctor, a community leader, our future president.
She is our family's pride, and as her father, I will protect her from child marriage and talk to her about the dangers of teenage pregnancy. We each have a role to play in empowering our teenage girls to protect them from child marriage and pregnancy, because when we empower them, we empower our nation. Protect the girl, save the nation.
Take action. Report any case of defilement or child marriage to the police or call Sawuti 116.
Eyange irisiti tompa birara irisiti ojja kumpa irisiti tompa birara irisiti ojja kumpa irisiti tompa birara mpa irisiti yange.
That's right. Insist on getting your e-receipt. It's your ticket to fantastic prizes, including motorbikes, laptops, fridges, and a fully paid 6-day safari for 2 in Uganda. Take a picture of your e-receipt, upload it to the URA website or mobile app, and you could be the lucky winner. The more receipts you upload, the higher your chances of winning. Terms and conditions apply. More details on our social media channels.
Uganda Revenue Authority. Developing Uganda together.
UBC One-on-One, thank you so much for watching and welcome back from the break. We are trying to take an insight into the education sector, especially the private wing, as we move towards the second term of the academic year 2023. And I have an educationist here, a whole head teacher of a primary school, where many of us are complaining about exaggerated school fee structures and materials asked for in terms of requirements. And we are discussing a very good kind of line. His name is Mr. Sentongo Kato Anthony. He's the head teacher of Global Junior School in Mukono. Sir, welcome back from the break.
Thank you.
Yeah, we looked at the fee structure and requirements. Now, how you people handle our children? Private schools, you tend to have an exaggerated kind of life for children, very soft. You tend to copy things from the outside world. And how does this affect the kind of children you are bringing up? Private schools. Somebody watches TV the moment they are not in class throughout. People have to go for tours as far as outside Uganda. Fine, somebody would look at it as exposure, but what kind of a Ugandan are you bringing up in that kind of a line of life?
Okay. Thank you so much for...
First of all, some of these things are too expensive for the parents. But what is your view? We may not be seeing it in the right angle as parents. What is your view?
Okay, thank you so much for bringing up that that kind of concern.
Yes.
And it is a very big concern in our schools. But one, I want to first discuss it to how education is supposed to be. When you are in class teaching, there must be a curriculum that is designed for the children of those of that particular stage and level.
Yes.
Where you are supposed to be very, very strict on what the curriculum requires. to have that child engaged in. So we pay much attention to that. Then two, looking at the environment and the demands of the current Uganda, what is that area that we can supplement within our curriculum, that we can add, that will add value? Because that's why you are seeing even the curriculum is being revised.
Yes.
They have to suit the demands
Of the time.
of the time. There are certain things that you will not even wait for the curriculum to come, but schools must look at situations that can try to speed up as the NCDC are coming in to redraw the curriculum. We try to understand the kind of parents and what they want from their kids, but we must be very strict when we are picking what are we adding, so that we avoid running away from the core of what we are supposed to give as a curriculum.
I understand very well.
Yeah, because some schools are going to dwell so much on what the world demands,
Yes.
and they forget the core of education.
To excite parents who would want to see their children on TV, their children speaking a lot of exciting things,
Are you getting that?
but when the core is actually
When the core
lacking.
is actually lacking.
I understand.
We have kids who are very used to the environment that is so entertaining. And then we have seen now schools coming up with the disco weekends, music. They bring music and they play to kids. Concerts. Artists are coming in schools. But the effect of that concert is going to last for around 2-3 weeks when they are in the minds of the child. And yet this curriculum has been designed into that period of 2 weeks. You are forcing this curriculum, there is another curriculum you have brought in, there is a mix-up. Now that school ceases to be focused on the curriculum, but is focused on the demands of outside the world. And yet those areas can be found.
So how can the two be balanced? Because again, work without play makes Davis a dull boy.
That is where we need it to do.
So how do we have to balance?
This curriculum is well designed. The curriculum we are following is well designed. It has periods, situations where kids are supposed to have play. Children must play.
Yes.
The timetables dictate that, and the curriculum states that. For how long should you teach in order for kids to have some other extra time
To go play, fresh their minds.
refresh their minds? And those activities must be well designed, that they are not antagonizing the curriculum that we are having. So schools, my fellow teachers, we need to advise ourselves so that we can have this education meaningful. We might be seeing schools when in actual sense they are not schools looking at the curriculum, but looking at entertaining and getting the desires of this outside world to be fulfilled within that school.
I love that. Thank you so much.
You get.
You talked about the curriculum, and this is where you bring me. There are endeavors to change and revise the curriculum. Like you said yourself, the Curriculum Development Center is coming up with ideas. They started with the lower secondary. They're thinking about the secondary school, and they have a plan for you guys in the primary sector. What would be your view? What do you think the revision should come up with?
Okay.
In the first place, before we go there, what do you think about the current
Curriculum.
one that we have? In a line that people should think about revising it. And if they revise it, what do you think they should come up with?
The curriculum that we are having currently is good.
Yes.
Because the elements within that curriculum is the community we are in. But that curriculum has a bigger percentage of knowledge oriented. To have the idea of how something can be and how it is supposed to be. When they ask you about something, you have an idea. But the problem now we are experiencing is that idea, how can you put it to affect you? The idea you have about something,
Yes.
how is it going to affect you instantly as you are learning?
Impact.
To change your life.
Impact your life.
Yes.
As you are learning, you are having the idea, but how is that idea going to move with your life? Because life starts from this age and it grows.
You people in the primary are the ones that build the foundation of a human being.
When we are building the foundation of a human being, we must build a whole child who understands, who appreciates. You get that?
Yes.
What he is learning. Is it part of me? Am I supposed to be learning this? Because some kids know that even in secondary now, students believe that what they are learning is for their parents to appreciate that they have got grades. But they don't know how impactful is it on their lives. But we need to build. When children are younger, they pick faster than when they grow up.
So you join the group that demands for a practical curriculum.
Practical curriculum. Me, I'm a teacher of mathematics. When you're talking about volume, we used to have volume is length times width times height. But the core is not the formula.
Hey.
What's the core?
The core is the volume, the concept. If I'm learning this formula, how is it helpful to me? Do I need it? Because me, when I'm in a room, I'm talking about volume. I must relate volume to the room where I'm standing, where I'm seated. So that when a child grabs this formula, understand that it is helping me to understand the space where I'm seated in and what I can put in that space. So volume understanding that is the space and what can be in that space.
It is more than just a formula.
It is more than a formula.
Somebody must understand that more
Than just the
a formula.
Okay.
And the children pick more what they have understood than what they have crammed. Some parents think that their children are dull. But I want you to wake up one morning and you tell a child to sing a song he or she had on the radio because it was very on TV, because it was very interesting. The child will sing it. But in the class, the teacher thinks for around 4 days, but the child does not pick. The reason is no interest, no concept. Why is it important to me? And that is the kind of curriculum we think that is supposed to help children.
My previous program, we talked to a professor, and he has a view of P7 being scrapped. For him, he thinks we should have from P1 up to senior 4.
Those are the revolutions that people will have to come up with ideas.
What do you think about it?
First of all,
Primary teacher.
first of all,
He has his views. What do you think about it?
I want to give you a scenario where we are giving children. You are the 4th out of 120 children.
Yes.
That child's ability should not be compared with these other children's ability. Every person was born with different abilities and strength.
So telling me that I'm number 3
I'm number 3
or 20
out of 130.
as if I was born on the same day with number 1.
They are number 1.
Okay.
Meaning that I'm supposed to be like the other people, or the other people are supposed to be like me.
But they have gone ahead of me.
But they have gone ahead of me. You don't know how strong I am in my 4th position. You don't know how strong I can be in my 20th position.
So,
Are you getting that?
Yes.
Meaning that even telling children that you are this out of this, tell me what I have been able to achieve. Period.
I'm not here to compete with anyone.
I'm not here to compete with anyone, but I'm competing with myself, and I know where I'm supposed to go. So when the professor is talking about P7 and whatever, these things, as we are moving, they are not completely relevant to children. What is relevant is what can the child do. Are you getting my point? From as an individual, what have you developed? Now we are talking about life skills.
Yes.
You are supposed to see what the teacher is teaching in a child, not by marks, but what the child is able to do. For me, when a kid comes and says, "Teacher, thank you so much. Today's lesson was so important and I picked a lot," that is learning. Because the child has appreciated what the teacher has given. Not the teacher to tell the children, "Can't you thank me when I come in class? Why don't you thank me?" Are you getting that point?
I used to have a teacher who would beat us every after we did a test. One day the head teacher told him, "What should I do to you who teaches and people fail your tests?"
Are you getting that point?
Yes.
I want a situation when I'm discussing with the teachers. I want a situation where a teacher speaks, talks, and the children speak about
What he discussed.
what he discussed. The teacher asked ideas I've been talking about, but what do you pick? How is it important to you? Do you think we should continue with this topic? Children must have an idea where they're discussing with this topic. Do you think this topic is so important to you? Yes, teacher, how? Talk about it. That's the kind of education.
I'll talk about discipline. I should have related it with the entertainment world, but let me put it here. Discipline in our schools, with the way our children, how we treat them at home, then when they come back to school, some of us are very bitter with you people, how you handle our children, then there are manners that the whole nation are fighting that have penetrated schools. I wanted always to hear a teacher's view. How do you think we can fight these things in school? First of all, let's start with the discipline area.
Now,
How a parent and teachers should co-work to handle discipline. Then this problem that I will not mention, but we are all fighting. How do you think it can be fought? You handle a boarding section.
You have brought in a very, very important topic that needs a day or 2 days.
Please brief it in 3 minutes.
Let me try. Education,
yes.
to be meaningful, it must have a source. And some people don't know that education has a source.
What is that source?
Some people say the source of education is from schools. Education starts from home. From that period of conception that the mother has conceived a child, the education starts from there.
For this child.
For this child, for me, I have a section, they call it nursery section, where a child comes to school when he's 3 years. But the child must not come to school when he's blank with education. Must have got a certain curriculum from home in order for that child to benefit from what the teacher
What
is
you find at school.
If the education at home is fake, however much these people fight in schools.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And people don't know that. Many children who fail in schools and they are not prospering in whatever they go, the foundation of education in a home died at home. For me, the interview, people say, you give interviews for our children. For me, when a parent comes and brings a child of 3 years for interviews, one thing, I have a very big office. I tell the parent to enter with the child. Then I spend 10 minutes observing what the child does. Are you getting that point? If a parent is the one who tells a child, greet the head teacher, the education is poor at home. If you are seeing a child who cannot concentrate to sit, is jumping there, is climbing a table, is beating someone, there's a
problem already.
a parent was telling a child in my office, you keep quiet. The child told him, also keep quiet, I will beat you. Now, meaning that whatever I'm going to put in this child, there is no order, because the education comes and sits in a ready mind.
So, discipline at school will only be successful when there is discipline at home. These bad manners we are fighting, give it at least some 30 seconds.
I want to give you a scenario of my interaction with the children.
Yes.
Whatever you see taking place in schools has a root
Where it comes from.
where it comes from. When I'm discussing with kids, me, I have a session with children. Every week I have a session where I need to interact with the children. But 70% of where these problems are cropping is home. It is a family. We have been hearing a brother in love with a sister, those stories, and where we used to be having something so queer that someone is in love with a brother or sister. You get that? These things are too common in children, the siblings.
So, the information we share at home, still,
The information the order. Now we are having a class, we call working class parents. They have very limited time.
Myself, Masajagi, and everybody.
You get that point? They have only 1 hour with their children, but they don't know the kind of curriculum their children go through. From the time the parents leave home, the time they come back. They are left with the TVs, they are left with the laptops, they are left with the phones, they are left with everything. They are left with that uncontrolled. And there is what
Within their house.
Within their house.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sentongo. Let's talk about Global Junior School as we wind up. What makes you special,
Okay.
be it in Mukono and everywhere?
Okay, I don't want to speak about it as in Global Junior School, where I come from, but I want to look at that special schools. A special school where a parent, even if it is not Global Junior School, because I might not take all of them in Global Junior School, but my school, how do I love other schools to be like a Global Junior School?
Briefly.
1, you must have a very close link between home education and school. You are going to have superb children, because whatever is going to take place at school, the parents are aware. Whatever takes place at home, the school will be aware. Have connection, communicate, engage. You are going to have a better school, and that's what I do.
That's what makes you different.
I don't want to see a parent. I want parents. Some people fear to be asked questions why they increase the fees. I call them, come. Even when they don't come, I force them to come.
How about in terms of grades? How do you do it?
If you ask about performance in Mukono, Global Junior School is one of those top schools where the performance is okay.
We thank you so much for the time that you have shared with us and all the information. We thank you so much for the young chaps that passed through your hands, and we pray that you continue doing the same as an individual and the school in general. Yes, his name is Mr. Sentongo Kato Anthony. He's the head teacher Mukono, Global Junior School Mukono, and we have shared a lot of information with him. I'm sure parents and teachers, you must have really taken home a lot. We thank you so much for watching. My name is Micheal Jordan Lukomwa with Davis Kamukama and the whole team. Wish you the best of the night. Bye-bye.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.